UMass Amherst has launched an investigation into allegations of inappropriate behavior against 1st Congressional District candidate and Holyoke Mayor Alex Morse.
I think this is what happens when you go against power. This would not be happening if I wasn't a candidate for Congress. This would not be happening if I wasn't on the verge of defeating one of the most powerful Democrats in this country. And so it is absolutely no accident.
The college Democrats accused Morse of having relationships with students and sending inappropriate messages to them via social media after meeting them at events.
Except that none of the allegations claim that any of the encounters were non-consensual, and he was a guest lecturer at UMass Amherst, I think starting at age 25 until now he's 31, and none of the students he went on dates with were his students. And he sent racy messages to this member of the college Democrats like, oh, how was the rest of your weekend? The horror. And you may say, though, Emma, he's still a congressional candidate, he's a mayor, he could have used his power incorrectly even though he's 31 and they're above age. Well, not so fast, because this has been exposed by the great Ryan Grimm of The Intercept as basically a scheme to take him down, a coordinated smear campaign. The leadership of the University of Massachusetts Amherst College Democrats began discussing an operation they believed could sink the campaign of Alex Morse for Congress as far back as last October, a plan they then helped engineer and which came to fruition on Friday after the college Democrats sent a letter regarding Morse to the Daily Collegian, the school student newspaper. Message logs obtained by The Intercept, both from leaders of the college Democrats UMass Amherst chapter group, as well as chats one of them had with Morse, shed new light on how this purported scandal was deployed. On Wednesday, following a statement by Morse, the statewide College Democrats chapter clarified that he had in fact only attended a single event during the course of his campaign. It was after that event in October 2019 that the leadership of UMass Amherst chapter began to talk about leaking a story damaging to Morse according to those online communications. Timothy Ennis, the chief strategist for the UMass Amherst College Democrats, like, okay, who do you think you are, admitted in the chats that he was a Neil Stan, that's the opponent, and said he felt conflicted about involving the chapter of the College Democrats in a future attack on Morse. But I need a job, concluded Ennis. Neil will give me an internship. At the time, Ennis was president of the chapter, a post he held from April 2019 to April 2020 when he was term limited out. Leaders of the College Democrats group went beyond merely plans to leak. They also explicitly discussed how they could find Morse's dating profiles and then lead him into saying something incriminating that would then damage his campaign. The self-importance of these college Democrats and how they view themselves is really just something. So Ennis and Morse had matched on Tinder previously, but they never hooked up. They never met up. And still, Ennis was trying to use those messages with Morse to essentially take him down. The College Democrats members were messaging each other things like, "Don't mind me totally leading him on," Ennis said, and then, quote, "This will sink his campaign." That's pretty much as explicit as it gets. And Ennis was trying to get an internship with Morse's opponent. Imagine being a stan for Richie Neal, who is the centrist Democrat incumbent that Alex Morse is taking on. He's the chair of the very powerful Ways and Means Committee, and he's been a part of big pharma bills and has taken a ton of money from them for a really long time. He's just another dinosaur Democrat that a progressive is trying to unseat in the safe blue district. And of course, that's where the smear campaign is born out of. It's an attempt to take down a progressive because he's challenging the powerful. And it's even more insidious than that, because this delegitimizes, in some people's eyes, actual claims of sexual misconduct. And there's a tinge of homophobia here. So this was a narcissistic attempt by these college Democrat self-important idiots to take down a candidate who was actually challenging the powerful. Because I'm sure in their bylines, they felt very good about themselves. Oh, I'm the chapter president. Oh, I'm the communications director, or whatever random titles they had for their college Democrats club. You're not that important. And in their narcissistic hand-holding and self-importance, they try to take down someone who's actually trying to make change. It's really gross. Again, we have reached a point in our culture where we need to really examine cancel culture. And I know that the right likes to use that as a way to attack the left when they're trying to, hold people who have done horrible things accountable. But this isn't that. This is the usage of the fact that he was gay and hooked up with guys as a way to take down the campaign of someone who was actually going after the powerful and trying to change things. And now we know. We saw with the Aziz Ansari story too. No. This is hearsay. This is puritanical BS from people who think they are all high and mighty, when in fact they're infinitely morally inferior to Alex Morse, and using his very normal adult sexual behavior in order to take down his campaign. It's gross, but as always, this is why we need great reporters like my colleague and friend, the great Ryan Graham of The Intercept. He got those chats, and now we see this for what it was. Now, Richie Neal is saying he doesn't know anything about this. He didn't hate it either, but I think it's not backtracked. I think it's backfired. There we go. I think it's backfired because now you see that Morse has received a ton of money and free publicity for this, and hopefully the right side of the story reached enough people and not the smear campaign aspect.